Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rambling Toffee podcast. I'm Mark. I hope everyone's doing okay today. How can I start this podcast? Well, last week I was all positive, talking about the new stadium and what would happen when we move in, what would we like to see, and when we move in there, and all the great things that's going to come from that. That's ongoing, of course. But I was kind of after the Bournemouth game. Okay, it was Bournemouth, but I kind of was quite positive with the players that seem to be performing better, and hopefully consistency was the key to this. And I hoped that in the Derby game, I knew it was going to be difficult. I hoped I wouldn't mind taking a draw from the game. That was my thinking before the game. But as we've heard over the weekend, and I'm going to get more into this, how do we start with this? There's just so much to take in. It just felt like just another Derby game at Anfield. Um, it was like the script was already written beforehand. And, if I'm absolutely honest, my optimistic view was to put a performance in to, at least put ourselves in a position that at least we can maybe come away with a draw. Um, but if we can put a performance in and maybe lose, then, I will take the performance any day. And in some ways, it came when you look at the height at the end of the game. We put the performance in defensively. We were really solid, especially with 10 men. I'll come into that in a minute, and everything else that took place in that game. But even before the game, I just don't like them. Never liked derbies, never have. I don't mind the Goodison derby. I'm normally there, but I don't mind them kind of because we're right behind them, and if we can kind of get a result maybe from them games at Goodison. But at Anfield, for some reason, it's just like the script has already been written. We know what's going to happen, and it's quite funny that one or two people on social media made predictions before the game that there'll be one booking and there'll be a sending off for us, and they got it right. I hope they actually went and betted on that because they would have taken a massive amount of winnings out of it. But uh, how can I start? The team was the same as the Bournemouth game. Set up well. Um, we started off all right. We created some opportunity. Calvert-Lewin had that opportunity, but as soon as the referee came into this, and I think he booked Ashley Young, but I think he booked Tarkowski. I think early on, and you just saw where the game was going. And then I was watching the game, I was thinking, consistency, and this is why I want to talk about the football game, and I want to talk about Everton v Liverpool, the derby game. I want to talk about the chances, the opportunities, the defense, the whole thing about the game. Not talk about the referee, not talk about incidences that took place throughout the game. And it's week in, week out. But again, this game, the referee, Craig Pawson, he's refereed many games for Everton, and he sent 5 players off, I think, now in those games. He's always been really, really bad for us with decisions that he's made in games, but Saturday was just took it to the next level. And what frustrates me is that I'm talking on this podcast and I want to talk about the football. And I'll talk about some bits of the football. The performances of Jared Brentwaite, I thought was fantastic. I thought Mikalenko again had an absolute outstanding game. I thought defensively we were really good. I thought Anana put in some good challenges. I thought there was some good performance across the board in a sense of the word. Some performances weren't great, but for how the game went, I can understand what happened. But it's been ruined by the referee. And what frustrated me in that first half was, while Ashley Young, first booking, was it a booking? If you look at it, it's a tactical foul. The player was going through, he put it out. It was his first challenge. So you could, as a referee, because it was a derby game, you looked at the situation. Normally, a derby game is heated and it's divisive in every way, and it's what it is. But he made the decision, right, booking. And okay, I can accept that. But Simicus, the Liverpool player, and I don't want to talk about Liverpool players, whatever they, I'll have to today because of what happened. But Simicus made 3 challenges. One of them was very similar to what Ashley Young did, nothing. And he got away with it. And I don't know what the rules are. I hope what my rules is that if you've constantly fouled for 3 or 4 times, I think it's at 2 times, I don't know. Somebody let me know. As soon as you keep on persistently fouling, you should get a booking. He didn't get a booking at all. And it was like, what's that all about? Consistency. There isn't any. There was no consistency. So that happened. Tarkovsky got booked. And then, of course, the second incident, which on the day when I watched it, I thought, yes, it's a foul, it's a challenge, but is it just worth warning him and saying, look, was it reckless? Was it one that was a reckless challenge? Was it in any way a bookable offence? At that moment in time, I just felt it would be best if he just had a word with him. But no, because as he was walking or running towards where the free kick was going to be taken, it looked like, from what I saw and what I was seeing, was that it was just going to be a free kick. And then all of a sudden, it seemed to be 1 or 2 Liverpool players. Maybe I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist, or maybe I'm not. I don't know. But it felt like they had a word with him and said, he needs to go. He needs a second booking. He needs one of them. Made the decision for him. And then, so that's happened. So he's gone. And so we're now back to the walls. I think we kept the shape still. We didn't really change anything at that precise moment till half time. And I don't think we've changed it for a bit. We just kept it as is. But it was so, that's happened. Canate, we're going to bring Canate into this now. He gets one booking, which was a rash challenge. Okay. And then we go into the second half, backs against the walls. We have to be more defensively solid. But what I got on a footballing side of this was that they weren't creating that many opportunities in the box. They were having shots out wide, they were trying to get it in. We, as a shape, performed really, really well to stop them from playing their game, which we had to do because we were down to 10 men, and it became, as I've heard from James Tarkovsky and Jared Branthwaite since then in interviews, it was like a siege mentality that the team grew together to protect protect themselves from losing the game, and that's what they went and did, and they put that performance in. And it didn't matter when we did get opportunities and we had the ball and we could have gone forward a little bit or whatever else, and then the ball just came back. It just became that kind of game. But it was it was balanced at that point in time. And I just felt watching it. I was actually watching it and I wasn't that concerned, which is weird for me, watching a derby game with Everton and Liverpool, because I'm always nervous. I can't stand them, as I said. I don't like them. I get nervous watching them. But I was just kind of calm with this. I was thinking we're doing okay. It was not. I think we might get a point. I think we might come through with this, which would be great for 10 men, and it'd be a real good morale boost because it would mean, well, we've actually held Liverpool with 10 men. You know, the writing was there. It was the headlines for the next day. But Canate, Beto has come on, good ball through, and he was, if he had got the ball, he would have been 1-on-1, and it could have been a chance to score. You never know. We don't know in that situation. But Canate blatantly fouled him. Referee was nearby, saw it happen, whatever, nothing. There was nothing. And he has supposedly said that he didn't think that was a bookable offence. It was a tactical foul. It was blatant. It was one. It was like the last man. He did it on purpose to stop Beto going forward and getting that ball and going on goal and going towards goal. To hopefully, you never know. But that opportunity could have been. So if it was down to 10 men, now we're in the what if, buts, and maybes. We could have been in a situation where the game could have ended as a draw. Because Liverpool would then, if they were down to 10 men, they would have had to change things. And it might have been an even enough game with that. We might have come back into the game a bit more. And we might have had opportunities after that. We might have had a little bit more of a boost because it's down numerically. We're back to square with two teams with 10 men. But no, that decision changed the complexions of the game afterwards because the backs was against the wall anyway because we were already down to 10. They had the opportunity, and then, of course, the penalty. Now, it hit his hand. Was it a penalty? It's quite a tough one. In my opinion, it's a penalty. And it felt like a penalty. It hit his hand. And it's Michael Keane again. And that's another thing about Sean Dyche's substitutions. I don't know why he brought Michael Keane on. I couldn't understand the decision was to take McNeil off. When we did get the ball, we needed to try and take that ball further up the field. If he was thinking bringing Michael Keane on to protect, not scoring a goal and having it. But Michael Keane's performances, the reason why he's been out of the team is because early in the season when he has played, he's been making lots of mistakes and not performing very, very well. He's been on the bench for a reason. He's been back up, basically, now. And he brought him on. And I don't understand why. But it doesn't really matter. But when you're in that position, I've always seen players always put their hands behind their back when a cross is going to come into the box. Michael Keane has never done it. He's done it in another game, which I think was the Leicester game last season. And he put his hand out again when he should have been protecting his hands. Wherever if that ball went past him, it went past him. But as long as he wasn't putting his hand out, but he put his hand out. And the cop was baying for it, players were baying for it. You need to check this. VAR looked at it, told him to go and have a look on the screen. And I actually agree with what Sean Dyche said after the game. What was the point? If VAR told him, we think that's a penalty, you go and have a look. But they just should have told him it's a penalty, and then point to the spot. Don't go to the screen. There's no point. The VAR's already told you. Why you have to run all the way down and have a few slow-mo moments on the screen to find out that's the penalty, then so be it. But there we go. They got it, and then but it all hindered. It would have been a very different world if Craig Pawson made the right decision. And has the game as it was, if Ashley Young had been two bookable offences for fouls that he's made, he should have done the same thing with Konate, and he didn't. And are we going to get an apology? Are we going to get a replay? I'm joking there. Are we going to get a replay? Are we going to get like the audio released regarding it to see if there was any chatter with the referee to hear what his decision was? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Nothing. And are the media jumping on this? No. National media, as per usual, doing their usual. Or Sky Sports talking about it. They'll probably talk about it today on their football show with Dermot Gallagher, who are probably defending. Oh, I think that was not a booking. Well, I don't know. But it's just absolutely baffling me how 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry I have to go back to this and talk about Liverpool and what happened after the Tottenham game. Because you had Jamie Carragher, you had Gary Neville, you had the whole of national media all in uproar, everybody going off thinking, this is terrible, worst decision ever, bad mistake, everything really bad about it. Craig Pawson made a mistake. The VAR in the offside goal for Liverpool, a mistake took place in VAR. A mistake. So at the moment we are in October, and I think Everton will be okay, I hope, because there's other teams below us who are worse than us. But I think we've got a good enough team. I think at this moment in time that is better than where we currently are, and I think going forward we'll be okay because where we are, we're in October. But if this was taking place April and we were down near the bottom end and we needed the points, it would be a different story. But because it's now, I can kind of go, well, we move on from this. We've got West Ham next game, and hopefully we might get some decisions for us. But then again, West Ham will come to us and say, well, that was a mistake by the referee. And the other thing is that it's not just Everton. I'm not just talking about us. Yes, it happened to Liverpool the other week. It's happening to every other club in the Premier League. And PGMOL, something has to give here because it's happening week in, week out. But instead of managers can't come out, Sean Dyche come out and said his thing, but I wished he'd gone further. I wish the club is currently where it is. Somebody at the club could have written to the FA, to the Premier League, and said, and the PGMOL, and said, look, we want to know why that happened. That was a blatant error. What's going on? Let us know. Tell us what's going on. Forget about an apology. It's not going to make any difference. And what's going to happen with this is because it's the derby game, and because it's Liverpool, and because they're media darlings out there, and because they're loved by everybody, it gets talked about. Yes, it was a mistake and everything else. It will get forgotten. And it's got forgotten so much so that somebody on social media is saying the Sky Sports highlights for the derby, that incident was omitted from the highlights. Why? So they showed the actual young incident, obviously. But why are they not showing that? Because it was an incident. And you're getting former players like the great Kevin Campbell, saying what's going on, asking the question. It's amazing. It's just, and even some journalists are saying it's a mistake. Even they are talking about it and saying this was a terrible mistake, and it's Everton, it should have been sorted out. Something on that sense. People are talking about it in the media to an extent, but what happens is it gets talked about after the game, it gets talked about on Sunday, it'll get talked about again, but as the Greek week goes on, it's not a headline anymore. It doesn't get talked about. But with Liverpool in their moment and what happened there, and because they lost as well, Jurgen Klopp come out in his press conference after that game, wants a replay. He was angry. The club put out a statement regarding it. Everything, we need to know, demanding the audio, demanding to know what's going on. And it was like a media campaign to get this sorted. It goes back to, can you remember the breakaway Super League when it was going to happen and it all came out, and it was like the national media and every sports channel, every media out there, all, oh no, you can't do that, it's wrong. You're not doing that. Can you remember that? But then all of a sudden, because those six clubs backed off, and it all went, we're not going to do it. They forgot about it, and then it all reverted back to its usual normality. Let's talk about the big six and how much. That's just another story. I don't know I'm talking. It's about Everton, but I'm fed up of it, and I'm fed up with week in, week out. We've had God knows how many times that we've had this against us. We can remember the Man City game with the penalty when we should have had it. Got an apology, it didn't help. We had the incident at Liverpool in Lampard's first season where Anthony Gordon incident when he went, got fouled. Should have had a penalty, and other incidences in that game, and nothing happened. Richarlison getting stamped on, and Oh, and everybody having to go at him when it was not his fault, and all that. And when Lampard actually went and lost it, and he got fined, the club got fined for it. But so managers can't criticise referees, coaching staff can't criticise referees. Nobody can ask and challenge them on mistakes that they make. And if they do, they get fined or they'll get a ban. Or like Sean Dyche, he got booked, and he doesn't know what he got booked for. And it's like it's a joke. So, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a derby game, and I want to talk about the result, the performance of the team, how we played, and taking the positives from that. If we lost and we played well, I'll take that as a positive because it means we're improving, and it's Liverpool. Because as much as my dislike for Liverpool, in a way, you know, they are a good football team and they're up there for a reason. But I just find the media and everything else after this is very hypocritical. Jurgen Klopp is hypocritical after his press conference this weekend, saying that, oh, you'll get over it. Yeah, we have to get over it. We have to move on to the next game. But it's happened to them. They can come out. He can say everything he wants. He can, and okay, he's probably I think he's fine for whatever he said. But it's put the media on his side, and he pushed it to get something sorted. But it's like if we say anything, it's like, oh, we'll get punished for it anyway. So there you go. Sorry if my throat's a bit croaky. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. So just to add to everything else. Anyway, yeah. So there's the derby. Um, I hope West Ham's upcoming. Hopefully, we can show that kind of performance again. The commitment that we've shown, and we just go again. And hopefully, for a better performance, hope we can get a result. They got a European game in the week, so as we're playing on Sunday. So hopefully, the extra game for them might help us as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's the next one. But as I just wanted to end, it's just sad that the game that I've been supporting Everton for 42 years, but I'm a football fan, and I'm just seeing our game die, and it's sad. Decisions like that week in, week out. Um, people ask the question: is there corruption? I tend to think there is corruption in the game, and it favours the few, and not the many. And I just feel it's not balanced. It's not balanced in a way to make it fairer for everybody and to make the game fairer for everybody. That it's even. So when the season starts, it's an even playing field from the start of the season to the end, and it gives everybody an opportunity to be competitive, to be able to even get up further up the table and to challenge further up. And but if there is this corruption there, and it's all about money, that's what the Premier League's all about. They want their script, they want their story, and that's what's happening. It's a TV world, and they're treating it as such. They're treating it as a soap opera. That'll make a few headlines. What happened on Saturday for a few days. It gives everybody something to talk about, and it's a storyline. It's a script. It's a soap opera, and that's what they want. That's what the Premier League want. That's what the Sky Sports want. TNT Sports. They want the American networks. They want it to be like that. And if you remember a few years ago, they wanted it to be like the NFL. They want it like half time. They want it to have breaks. They want it to have like quarters and all that sort of stuff. They wanted it to go in a way that it was a TV spectacle. So that's why, if you think about it, but I'm just rambling on now. For me, as a football supporter, as a season ticket holder, they get the TV games that get called. They get put on different days, different in the evenings when they've been moved from one place to another. They don't care about the spectator going to the game. They more care about the subscribers and the people that pay the money to watch it on the TV, and that's where it's gone, and that's where it's at. And when you look at the teams like the Liverpools, the Manchester Uniteds, the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Tottenhams, I don't know why Tottenham, but the Tottenhams and the Man Cities, is that they that's where the subscriptions go. That's where they pay the money to go and watch them. And any clubs like Everton, and I won't put sadly that's where we are, but we're in that position, and it's just like we're just part of that, and something needs to change, but it's not going to change, and the game is dying more and more, and it's become a world global game to a point that it's more they more care about the world fan base, the world audience than you do about the fan that goes to the game. They want you to go in some ways because that you build the atmosphere in the stadium and it generates that atmosphere. It makes the game better for it. So you're part of that story. We as season ticket holders or members who buy tickets to home and away games, we're part of the story. And I'm just saddened by it. And I just think, you know, that game, what it's supposed to be, a sport. It's a sport because it's a football game. You kick a football about, and you put your sport is to win the game or to perform in it. There's your sport. But everything that's built around it, the refereeing decisions, the sending all the things that's around it, the personalities that are there. Everybody loves supposedly Jurgen Klopp. Everybody like Mourinho when he was here for a time. They like the story, and the media love it. The national media love it. Sports broadcasters, everything else, they just love it, and that's what they're looking for. Just a bit of print clickbait for you if you want to. So yes, for me, starting this podcast, I would talk about the game, and I want to talk about it, and that's what I wanted to. And I've mentioned some of the performances have been really good today defensively, especially with 10 men. But Craig Pawson's destroyed that game. He didn't need to. His decision making, and because most referees, the poor refereeing, he's one of them. Something needs to change, and he's just made it into a game like that, and it's disappointing. And we go again. I will keep on supporting Everton until the day I die, and I keep on getting behind them the way I want to. And but games like that, with the fact that you just feel that, you know, what's going to happen, how it's going to play out. Is it worth watching sometimes? I watched it because I'm an Evertonian and I get behind them wherever I am. But I want to watch our team, and I want to watch a game of football where it's about the football, what happens on the field, about the performance. Not about all I want to know, all I want to see is the referee doing his job, not doing what he's doing, and what other the VAR officials or the fourth official or whoever, the red linesman or whoever else. I don't want them. I want them to just do their job and leave the football to the players. That's all it is. Them to just manage it as it should be. Anyway, I can go on and on and on about it. But there you go. So we go on to the next game, which is West Ham upcoming on Sunday. Hopefully for a positive performance. Hopefully for a better performance. And we go again, and that's all we can do. So I'll be back with my next podcast on Monday. I'll talk more about the usual things that are ongoing about the takeover, the new stadium as well, everything, because there's been a survey that was brought out by the club that I filled out regarding the season tickets and everything else like that. I'll talk more about that next week, and plenty of any other ramblings that I have. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast today. I do appreciate it as per usual. Thank you again for the feedback. It's always been fantastic. Any positive or negative, please let me know. I want to improve the podcast, as you can guess. I will say at some point in the future, I'm going to be adding a second show, which will be a more interactive show with you guys out there. So I'll be speaking to you guys talking about everything Everton, talking about why you support the Blues and everything else like that. And it's not just about being an interview; it's just being a nice, simple chat about being a Blue, what what got us to where we are now, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so until the next episode, please take care, and I'll speak to you next week. Take care. Bye bye.